Hey everybody, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Mary Payne here, and I've got my friend, the beautiful Deanna Cheng. Hi, Deanna.
Hi, Mary. What a pleasure. How are you, Mary Payne?
You did it wrong, but then you did it right.
But
I
I fixed
appreciate you.
it.
I fixed it. You fixed it.
This is what's always going to happen. I'm going to do it wrong, but then I am going to do it right.
You do have a sister named June Diane.
I do. But
So,
she goes by June, so for the
um,
for the real world. So the
yeah,
Diane
is a
is
stage name.
is no, it's her name. It's just that she doesn't I don't call her June Diane.
Okay, all right,
I
I
call
get
her
it. Well,
June.
you're her
Yeah.
sister. You can call her what you
Yeah.
want. Yeah, I am very happy to see you.
Good to see you.
You've just come off a successful run over there on Radio Andy, doing a week of Reality Checked.
Oh, was it fun? Oh,
Really
I
fun,
had
huh?
such a great time. Yeah, I loved it.
Did you do it alone or did you have some co-host or what was going on over there?
So Amy was super wonderful and helpful. Amy Phillips, who had the show for 8 years, and
Yeah.
she sort of, I was thinking I would have a co-host every day, bring someone new because that's probably what I would want to do if it was my show. And she said, "You know what? You really need to like be on your own for if 5 days, you can bring 1 or 2 guests, but don't do it every day." So I had my friend Danielle Schneider from Bitch Sesh
Yeah.
in the first day, and then my friend Matt McConkey um, the last day, which was perfect because she was right. You do need to kind of feel the hour by yourself and know what you have to do in that hour. I mean, you do,
Yeah. Mhm.
and so, yeah. And then there's the callers. So that they were really the co hosts.
Yeah. Yeah. And she had so many great callers when she had that show. And then some of those callers I hear on some of those other XM shows like Radio Andy, like Andy Cohen Live or Jeff Lewis's show. I hear some of those same people that call
Yeah.
in. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm wondering, like, because I listen to a lot of Radio Andy and Radio Jeff and whatever, but I don't have time all day every day to call into every show. Some people I guess just have it on in their house, like some people have the TV on in the background, you
I
know?
think so. I think it's interesting. I think like, yeah, I have been a Sirius XM listener forever. Um, It's different than a podcast, right? Because it's a live show, and I guess they have that ready. They have the phone numbers logged and loaded. So they
Yeah.
might be like cleaning up the kitchen with "Hey Siri, call Radio Andy." You know what I mean? And oh, my Siri just hold on.
Oh my gosh, if your Siri just called, I'm not gonna say it out loud because
Shh,
mine's
damn it.
gonna pop up.
Mine
Shit.
just popped up and oh god, well, there you go. So she's very eager, very eager.
She's willing to help. She's willing to
Yeah,
help.
always, always.
Well, I'm glad that you had such a successful run. I know they haven't announced, like, who's gonna be the permanent or if they're gonna keep it this way for a while or what, but I'd like to throw your, name in the ring.
My name's in the ring, baby.
Okay.
So what I would like you to do is throw some support if you had listened or it's sitting there on demand. So anyone who heard it, if you liked me, just throw Radio Andy a little note and say we'd like Deanna Cheng as our permanent host.
Yeah, we do a little tag. You could do a little tag at Radio
Anything.
Andy.
Any of the above.
Hashtag hire Deanna.
Yeah, any of those gentle suggestions would be fantastic.
Well, I will tell you, I was last week at Podcast Movement in Denver, and your sister was
Yeah.
there.
Oh
She
my
was a
gosh.
she was a speaker. Yeah.
How amazing. How'd you do?
I think she did great. I didn't hear it
Oh.
because it was at 8 in the morning, and that's not a good time for me. And but Matt Mara of Reality Gaze, he we were all there together, and he introduced her, and he was like, she was so nice. And Jake Anthony, who's his co-host of Reality Gaze, knows
I know
Casey.
Jake Anthony. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
so they all chatted and had a great time. And I was like, I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I would have liked to have met her, but
I saw your picture with
sleepy.
Chris Farah, who I love and adore.
Stop. Yes,
Mhm.
I love. So we were on a panel. So it was Jake and Matt and Chris and Wah and me. I'm solo. We were on a panel about uh starting a podcast with already ravenous TV fan base, right? So if you're
Mm,
starting a podcast about 90 Day Fiance or a Bravo show or whatever, like how to connect with an audience, how to kind of get people to listen if you know that that show already has like a big fan base. We talked about that. I was on another panel that was about programmatic ads. So,
what are programmatic ads?
programmatic ads are the ones that just so we upload the podcast through Spreaker and then they drop in ads. It's
Mhm.
different than host read ads,
Got it.
right?
Yeah.
And the programmatic ads are just ones like my sister called me one time and was like, "I'm so excited. I can't believe you got that ad for Geico." I was like, "No,
Right.
girl.
So
No,
that's coming
girl."
from the company
Yes.
is doing it. It's not about a sponsorship specifically for
Right.
your podcast. Okay.
Right. So if you hear me read it, for Audible or whatever, then that's an ad that I got.
That's
But
yes.
but the rest of them are dropped in like Geico
Yeah.
or, AT&T or something huge that they just drop them into all the
Yeah.
podcasts across.
Well, I mean, this is real minutia like this. So there's really people are going to this particular convention to get podcast information, huh?
You wouldn't believe the minutia of some of these
Wow.
panels.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
say that disrespectfully. I say that like this is like nuts and bolts of podcasting. Like we're getting
Yeah.
into the details. Okay.
It's like how to start, how to do your social media, and,
Gosh.
your sister did one, so that she did a keynote speech, and then she did one of, why comedy is important in podcasting, so she was, of course, great for that, and, yeah, I mean, some of the I would walk around to some of the panels and be like, kinda look at the app on my phone to see what I was interested in, and I was like, "No, no,
No.
no, no, no." If it's like how to grow your social media, I would stop and give it a listen for a second, then I would
Yeah.
there were LGBTQ panels, it was
Wow.
every 30 minutes, 4 stages, panels for 3 days.
Woo!
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on getting to speak at that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll give it all to, Jake and Matt. They were gonna do a panel, and they're like, "Would you wanna be on it?" I said, "Yeah," and they said, "We're gonna ask Chris and Wah." I said, "Great." Hung out with Chris and Wah a lot, and they are great. They have a podcast called Docu Sweeties,
Hmm.
and, we
Chris
just
Farah?
Chris Farah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, Jake Anthony plays the piano.
Yes, he's a
So
musician.
Jake and Chris and I were in a musical called oh damn it. That's where I met Jake, but he was doing the piano for it. What was it called? The Boogaloos, something Boogaloos. It was written by Matt Besser and something or other Boogaloos for the UCB, but he is
Okay.
super talented guy. Both of them are great.
Yeah, very talented. So Jake and Matt are our friends, and they have a very fabulous, famous podcast called Reality Gaze, and they
Okay.
talk about a lot of the same stuff I talk about, which is 90 Day Fiance, Love After Lockup, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Now I do have a bone to pick with Casey and also your sister
Oh,
June
Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
because they're out there touting Welcome to Plathville like they discovered it, and I and Danielle too. And I have to say, we have covered it for all 5 seasons.
Okay.
So I don't want anybody to think that it's a brand new show. It's 5 seasons in. You should be watching it. We've been saying it for 5 years. You should be watching it.
Well, my husband watches it. I do not watch it because they creep me out. I just see those blonde people. It's too blonde for me. And so I look over and I'm creeped and I keep it pushing. But he's watched quite a bit. He's watched quite a bit of Plathville. So,
There's not
yeah. And
one piece of information I don't know about every single member of their family.
wow, wow,
I have a
wow.
I
A
can't find it.
dossier.
I have a spreadsheet with their current ages all the way to all 10 kids. And I will say that we did get a screener, and I've seen the season premiere, and I've already done the podcast about it because I'm about to be out for a week. And when
Okay.
I tell you, Amy, who did it with me, my friend Amy Archer did it with me, and we are enraged, as we always are when we watch the show. We're always
Okay,
enraged.
so this is I have literally just seen the blonde people on my TV and have
Hmm.
moved away. But my understanding is that it didn't work for me is that this is sort of a family
Hmm.
that is not dealing with the rest of the world, right? They're very, very fearful of the parents are very like, this is
The
our
parents.
little community and you can't go outside of it. So the fact that they have that sort of those marching orders and have cameras on them, I can't get comfortable with
Mm.
that. So I don't get
That
it.
that's why you need to watch, because you will also be enraged, because what you find is that the mother for years was trying to get them on a reality show. She would have a YouTube channel for them, but nobody in the family was allowed to use the laptop except for her.
Oh
And
dear.
it's so much hypocrisy, and
Oh,
they
so
are a
she's
part of
a
the
psycho. She's a
they're a
full
part.
psycho.
Well, I'm not saying that allegedly,
Okay.
but they are part of the Quiverful Duggar situation. They all follow that same formula of you just keep having kids because that's what God wants.
Ay,
Yeah,
ay, ay.
yeah.
And
But with the interesting thing about it, as the seasons have gone, there was a first season you see Mariah who's kind of wants to be the breakout, like she's in jean shorts and she's putting on some mascara and she's going out.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, she's full goth now, tattooed. I mean, like
Oh,
the progression of it is fascinating about the older kids kind of realizing, hey, we can't even pass a GED because of our homeschooling,
yeah.
and and where they are now is really, really, really
I
interesting.
can't I don't think I can do it because that stuff just it just makes me insane. I can't, and organized religion, anytime you are taking people, removing them from society, there's always going to be this like backlash because it's so unfair.
Well, we always said that the little blondies, the 4 younger children of the 10, the one did pass away at a young
Ah,
age, so 9 total.
what the
The
heck
little
happened
ones,
to that one?
it's a very sad story. You don't want me to tell you.
Okay.
Okay.
It, it,
The,
uh,
it's a very sad story. So the
okay.
4 little ones, anytime anybody new would come into the house, you could imagine the production. Anytime anybody new would come in the house, whether it be their brother that moved down the road or whatever, I said they were like the Minions from the Minion movie. Like, you know how the Minions, there's that meme of them all going, oh, all at once, and they all look up.
Yeah,
That's what happens when anybody walks in the house. 4 or 5 of them with the blonde, you don't know who's who, but
yeah.
screeching towards the door barefoot, because they're so happy to see like outside world people. Yeah.
Jesus H. No, thank
It's
you. I
like
mean, God bless
nine
and
9 kids
and
and 9 kids in 2 bedrooms, some in the hall on, like, triple bunks. Yeah.
listen, as I'm protesting at some point, I'm sure I'll be in there, but not today.
You
Not
can't
today.
you can't start now. You've gotta start at the beginning because
Beginning
you won't understand what's happened.
where we've been and how we got here and all
Yeah.
that. Well,
Mhm.
and kudos to you for being, first to
Thank
it, Mary
That's
Bean,
all
and
I
I
that's all I
hope
want.
people will put some respect on your name. Okay? Both of your names.
Thank you. Thank you. I have booked Casey on the podcast in October, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna talk about it. We
Oh,
could talk about
nice.
we could talk about it the whole time." I was like, "What do you got for me? I can answer everything. There's not a question you can't throw at me."
That's great.
But we are here to talk about Bravo. So we have been struggling. Me, have been struggling with the name of Thursday because we used to call it Bravo Breakdown, but kind of a lot of other podcasts are sort of taken that
Okay.
term. So I want it to be different. So we have toyed with Shades of Bravo. We
Okay.
have toyed
And
with
pardon me for 1 second. This is a
uh
Thursday show that's a compilation of what we've been watching. That's
j-
the idea of
just
the
Bravo this week. Yeah.
okay, okay. So Shades of
So,
Bravo,
hmm
double
don't
entendre because shady and yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
kind of
okay, okay,
yeah. We kind of toyed with barely Bravo because we talk about other stuff too.
okay.
Don't love it. And then I had a wonderful listener reach out and said, "Why don't you use the word bunkie in it? Because that's what we call our listeners,
Yeah.
bunkie. Why don't you say like Bravo Bunkies or Bunkie Breakdown or Bunkie Bravo?" I was like, there's
Ooh.
something there. I just can't get there. I just can't get there, Deanna.
Right, because Bunky Breakdown, I think that's so far my favorite is Bunky
Oh,
Breakdown.
okay, okay.
But maybe you do need a bunkie to weigh in on a Thursday show, at least for a few minutes or a write in or something like that to kind of pull it all together.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Let me read you this email I got from a bunkie.
Yes.
Yes, because we get a lot of emails from bunkies that give us information like, hey, because we talk a lot about love after lockup, love during lockup. They'll say, hey, when you said this thing about the prisoner, here's why that's wrong. And they'll tell us like things that we got wrong or things that we didn't know, having never been in the prison system.
Right.
And I enjoy when
That's
people
awesome.
will reach out and say, the other day, I think Amy Archer said something about the Golden Girls, and she kept referring to it as the Netherlands. Now, in my mind, I was like, I think that's not right. I think it's Sweden, but I didn't correct her because we were just continuing when lots of people write in to correct.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
and
could
the
say,
people are good with a correction. They will
yeah.
they'll get you sorted and settled and correct.
Get you corrected
Yeah.
real dang fast. Yes. I also made the mistake of saying Ronan Farrow and John Lovett of Crooked Media were married. And I
Huh?
got corrected
Wait.
on that real fast. No, they're not married. They're also not together anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he's the guy. It's like this guy John Lovett and John Favreau who both have names that sound like other people.
And then
But
you're right, right, right. Yeah. John
right,
Lovett, and then there's a comedian Lovett
John
that
Lovitz.
Lovitz. So
Yeah,
that was who I thought we were partnering at first, and I was like, well, that would be a real wild pair.
that would be a real step
Ronan
up for John
Farrow.
Lovitz to date Ronan Farrow.
John Lovett's getting his. Okay.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? Breaking news, guys. John
And
Lovitz
those and
is
I mean,
gay and
that
dating
would
Ronan
be
Farrow.
we'd have to just sit with that for quite some time, just really get into the nuts and bolts of it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Truly. Yeah.
Oh God. Well, we are here to talk about Bravo, so I do want to get your opinions on, and we're not recapping, we're just overviewing.
Love it.
What are your thoughts on OC right this minute? The last
Right.
episode I have seen that was on my television
Mhm.
was the one where the taco party that wasn't.
Right.
Half the party didn't show up. That was
Oof.
hard. That was hard.
I mean, God, I thought it was a phenomenal episode. I'm overall just in general loving OC this season. I'm
I am
enjoying it.
too.
I'm
I am
enjoying
too.
it. I love
Hmm.
Jen. Um, at first blush, I was like, Jesus Christ, because it's such a copy, cut, and paste, the look of OC, that when I
Totally.
saw her, I was like, another one, another Jen that looks exactly like this. And I was so over it. But
Yeah.
I've just come to really love her. And I think she's just moving her way through this season in such a beautiful way. Like, wow. I'm just kind of blown away by Jen and just the way she's handling herself.
Well, I just heard Tamara and Teddy on Jeff Lewis's show. I was listening to that before I came over here. I was showering and listening, and they were saying we know that you don't like Jen to Tamara, and she was like, uh huh. And he goes, but yeah, I'm really liking her. He's saying what you're saying. I think she's doing great. I think she fit right in. She's interesting. She's this. She's that. She's got this like dickhead boyfriend or whatever, but like that's par for the course. She'll get a little fame and get somebody better, and we're talking about this, and Tamara's like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then she said, basically what Tamara said is that she's known her for many years, and this is totally an act. This is not at all how she is. And she was like, so, first season, great. She was like, mm-mm. She's like,
Okay.
it'll all come out eventually. But I mean, it always does, right?
Well, I will say this, and I feel like nobody cared, or maybe it went by so quickly people didn't pick up on it. Did you see the flashback picture of Jen several seasons ago and what she looked like back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen it on the internet. Yeah.
Okay. So are
Yeah.
people like clocking that then? I mean, it's like she looks so different today,
Mm-hmm.
2023.
Mm-hmm.
The picture they showed us was her at her age, looking like a very attractive woman in her 50s, right? I would say like
I
or
think she's probably,
40s,
yeah, I think
late
probably she's
40s.
currently 50-ish. So probably
Yeah,
this,
okay, so
yeah, yeah,
maybe late 40s, like a woman who looked her age,
yeah, yeah.
and very pretty. But it is so different from the woman we're seeing on the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like this is a body is crazy and face and hair and lips. It's just like she got really hot, you know? So whatever went on in the last couple years, she went from regular pretty to
Mhm,
hot, really, really hot. And what my experience of her is, now that I've seen that photo and the photo was important, I needed
mhm.
it to give me context. And I'm like, okay,
Okay.
this Ryan is temporary. She doesn't see it going long term. She feels so hot, and this is the kind of guy that she would have wanted to go for, but she
Uh-huh.
never felt like she was hot enough. I'm sorry to
Okay.
be so base, but
No, I got you.
this is what I feel like is going on here.
Mhm.
I also think if Tamara has known her for this long, then Tamara's also witnessed the transformation
Yeah.
and its competition. And Tamara has been hot. I mean, I'm so sorry I'm being so base again, but I'm just saying it plainly. Like hottie toddy, body,
Yes.
everything,
Yeah.
boobies up,
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
like leading with that. She's been that for quite some time. So I
Right.
think her friend went from kind of a regular gal to, OC hot. And in my opinion, I think that the fact that Ryan went for Jen is bothering Tamra. And she's the kind of person, like, that's why she had to get it out that he said, I want to, I'm going to F
Oh,
her or
right.
whatever.
Yes. She wanted to be known that I mean, he
She,
wanted to F me first, and he
right.
took you. Yeah. He settled.
Exactly. Which
Mhm.
is unfortunate. But I think that Tamra is just like, oh, no. You are not coming for my hottie toddy throne. And, that's sort of what I'm getting. Now listen, we've been fooled we've been fooled before and we will be fooled again.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that much we
Yeah.
can bank on. But right now I like her. I like her a lot. Like her a lot.
I yeah, I like her too. But I think that also it's like, let me show you how perfect I am with my adopted son. Let me show you how perfect I am with the adopted kittens. Let me show you what a wonderful mother I am. I think maybe it's a little put on, and maybe that's what's bugging Tamara because Tamara's like, okay, I never knew you adopted kittens before. Come on. I think it's maybe that idea that maybe she's not such a great person.
Hmm.
She said something like, "It's a good thing she's a yoga and teacher. She's learned to pretend to be calm," or something like that. So we'll see. We'll
Yeah, I
see.
mean,
I'm not against her.
listen, Tamara's throwing napkins in her face and she's not biting. So, uh
It's
I
true.
don't know. We'll see. I think Tamara's really coming in thirsty, so th- she
Yeah.
lost her job. She's fighting for it, and we feel
Yep.
it and we see it. And I think she can dial it down a few notches. But I mean, I don't even know if I've answered your question. I've talked for so long and I've gone in so many directions that I don't think we were heading in, but I'm liking OC.
Thoughts on I think Emily is doing a great job this season. I
Yes.
think she's got a lot of one-liners and I like it. I like
She's
it.
also coming from herself, which is always what we love. At least Emily, I have always, and I probably haven't always if I went back and listened to everything you said about Emily, but I think I've always enjoyed Emily, but she seems like she's in the pocket this season. She's very
Mhm.
herself. She seems like her and her husband are doing great. Um, she's fun. I would love to hang out with her. I love her,
I
and
would too.
we're getting her without so much Gina. Like they were attached at the hip forever. So
Mhm.
I'm Gina. I don't know how you're doing with her, but I am about through.
I think everybody's about through. I think people are like, okay, we gave her a chance, and she looks great, body snatched, voice still bad. I think I think she doesn't. I think she just doesn't bring anything. I think when you think of the OC, you think of a little bit of a like a Vegasy, cheesy, over the top. Like you're saying, like the boobs and the hair and the stuff, and like a luxury beach lifestyle. And
hmm
Gina's not bringing that. I wish her well in her realtor career,
Sure.
or she'll be maybe great on an ultimate girls trip, maybe a visit to Crappy Lake.
Yeah. Yeah, we
But
need a refresh. We need her to Yeah, she's wearing us down. She's wearing us right down to a nub. I can't, do it. I'm also from Long Island, and the accent I have never heard before.
Yeah, it is a hybrid of some Long Island and something.
Something. I mean, it almost seems like Long Island and, like, Rochester or something like
Mm,
that, but it's
it's tough.
really wearing thin.
I agree. And who else do we so the only other thing we really could talk about on OC is probably Heather. And, the question is out there, like, is this what we wanna see? This, like, we sold our house for $55 million. Most people in the world can't imagine
No,
$1 million or 5 or 55. It's such a $55 million
astronomical.
is such a number that you think, like, when they here's where you would hear it. At the university, we just built a brand new medical center. It cost $55 million. Like, that's where you would hear $55 million,
Yes.
not your single family home. It makes no sense. And they're moving into this two-bedroom penthouse. You currently have two children still at home. Are you shoving them into one room from the 60,000 square foot home? What's happening? I don't understand. And who bought it? Who
Who
bought
bought
it?
that house? That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really truly J-Lo money, Beyonce money,
Yes.
it's money. It's money, 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 money. So I don't know. I am enjoying Heather more this season. I do know that much. She even with this 55, I feel like she's dialed down the obnoxiousness with the money, and that's weird to say when we're moving,
Mhm.
it seems like she's calmed down a little bit and she's
Yeah.
more grounded with her $55 million sale. But yeah, like I don't know, do you feel like she was the one antagonizing Shan like in the who's coming for Shannon and her man? Is it
Uh-huh.
more Tamra or more Heather? Like what's your take?
I definitely don't think Heather is, like, at the root of it. I think she will join in on the conversation and, like, yes, she called me too. But let's yeah, let's dig into this because we all have a friend like Shannon, and maybe we've all been the Shannon, where you have a few drinks and you call me, it would be texting your friend and are like, "Oh my god," like, complain about your spouse or your boyfriend
Yeah.
or whatever. This never goes right for anybody because the next day when you're not mad anymore, now all your friends hate your husband or your boyfriend or
Yeah.
whatever it
Oof.
is.
I know.
And this has apparently been going on for years.
Right.
But she keeps going, "I've never been happier. We have fights that paralyze me." Well,
Ah! Oh
why
my
are you
god.
paralyzed, girl?
It's true.
Why can't you move through the argument like a grown-up?
Oh my god, oh, paralyzed me. This is honestly, that's why this episode was so amazing is, like, Shannon is just when she's in this struggle,
Mhm.
no one is better on television than Shannon Beador. There's just no one. She's so funny, and she does not mean to be funny, and it's almost makes me feel bad that I'm laughing because I know she's going through it, but my god, does she make me laugh. That sentence right there, "We're doing great. I've never been happier." But yes, he paralyzes me, is just it's art, it's a piece of art. That's just a brilliant you couldn't write that, it's so amazing.
Yeah, I think that I think this was also said today on the Jeff Lewis show. They said, it's bad because she doesn't remember any of these things that she says to her friends late at night. And Tamara goes, or she pretends that she doesn't remember because she doesn't want to like get in trouble. And Teddy was like, yeah, that was rough. That John Jansen thing is rough. It is not good. So remember, like before the season aired, they broke up. And
Right.
then he was seen at the Quiet Woman with somebody else and all this stuff. Um, and now they're sort of back together-ish. And she said on many shows when asked about the breakup, she said she never saw it coming. She had no idea. He waited till they were done filming and blindsided her. It's been the worst 2 months of her life, this whole thing. But what we're seeing on TV is
Her
he was
seeing it
like,
coming.
her seeing it coming
Yeah.
and trying everything she can to pump the brakes, like, "Don't break up with me, don't break up with me." You know, he's not such a catch, I don't think,
Oh,
just because he has a boat, I mean
well, I have said that he is a broke down Al Gore, and he is, you know,
perfect, that's
that much I
perfect.
know. But I hate I've been there. I think we've probably all been there when you're in that place where you're genuinely scared of what's happening in a relationship. But,
Yeah,
like, it's a terrible place to be in, and if you're in that place where you're measuring all your words, you're making sure that everything you're doing is right, because if it doesn't go right, your partner is gonna be upset. It's like, that's the wrong relationship to be in because
mhm,
you're on edge. He
on
has
edge.
you on edge, and I think ultimately, no matter what she's saying, she's with someone who has her nervous and on edge, and that's not the right relationship, in my
No,
opinion.
and that's what she had with David Baddour, for God's sakes.
Exactly, exactly.
It's like, "Are you eating chips again?" and all that, and he was
Oh,
so
no.
awful,
No.
and I think that she just wants to be with somebody, wants to be in love, wants a
Of
relationship, and
course.
this guy will do. He'll do,
Well, I
you
do
know?
recall her saying, and it might have been on an interview show or something like that, they had the best sex of her life.
Everybody always says that about whoever they're with at that time.
Mm.
Generally, they're like, "Oh, yeah, I have to say the best sex is so
No,
great." I'm like,
I will tell you based on the way she was explaining and the shock of it and all of that, like, this I think that that's
"That's what's keeping
really
her
a
there."
huge part of it is that she had this incredible physical experience with him.
Well, I love when the editors do the shadiness and Heather goes, "I really don't wanna talk about this, it's none of my business." And then it's like, they fight about money, he doesn't have a job, he doesn't like the kid lives with him, she doesn't get along with his daughter, but, like, I can't talk about it.
Yeah,
Um,
so good.
okay, yeah, and I agree with you about Heather, I am digging her more this season, she's not
Mhm.
bugging quite as much, maybe it's because 'cause she's got so much money, she just is easy breezy.
Yeah,
Easy breezy.
she's just that 55 will just calm you down, you know?
She's just waiting, just she's ready by her phone because Hollywood's a calling, and
Oh
Heather
my
Dubrow's
god.
back in town, baby.
It's so funny.
She's ready to be cashier number 2 on Suddenly Susan, like, I don't know what show she was on.
I don't
Yeah.
know either. I do hope that she gets those calls, but I don't know that her condo in Culver City is the difference between her getting the calls and not. OC is not that far. You can make it to your job, but we'll see.
And also, she probably has a helicopter, so she can make
Sure,
it.
she can figure it out. She really could. She could.
She just wants to be on Beverly Hills, I think, I'll be honest. Don't you think?
Do we want her there?
No, I'm just
I
saying
can't.
that's where
I'm
she
no,
wants
and
to
I
be.
don't know. I mean, well, these girls are pushing her out. That's for freaking sure. They are not. Heather's really gone through it. I think this season. I don't think it's quite fair.
I did say Tamara did a great impression of her when they did that dress like each other party.
Oh, it's
Tamara,
funny.
yeah, when she was just like walking around, and I never noticed that Heather held her mouth like that until they were doing like the side by sides.
Yeah.
I was like, that was good, Tamara. Tamara's earning that paycheck. I'm proud of her.
Well, she's definitely working.
All
She is
right,
working.
all right. Speaking of working, let's go to New York. The new New York.
Yeah.
I heard someone say on a podcast or somewhere that Bryn seems possibly to be like a high class call girl, and it's fine if she is. But they said, see, because she's always talking about like maybe she's a yacht girl. She just likes guys to give her gifts and been
Mm.
engaged a lot of times and breaks up with one fiance to get to the next one who has more money. And but all I know is that Gideon guy is really cute. And if she doesn't want him, he can come over to, I mean, I'm already married, but
Yeah, but
he,
you make room for him.
I'd make room for Gideon. He is real cute,
Well,
apparently
he's
wealthy.
cute, but he also seemed like I wasn't as blown away by his looks as it seems the rest of the world, but I did think he seemed lovely,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
seemed to be in love with her.
Hmm.
You felt it. I'm like,
She
this
wasn't
guy's in
given an
love with her.
inch. Mm-mm.
No. And that's tough. to watch, but he's definitely seems like a great catch. I mean, I don't know what we're looking for, but
What did you think about the chatting at Aaron's vow renewal party? That was in a literally in a bank building. So that's the acoustics we're working with.
there were a lot of strange things in that party going on, but I didn't think they seemed based on what we had our eyes on,
Mhm.
they didn't seem to be speaking in a way that was offensive in terms of volume.
Yeah.
It seemed like just looking around, it didn't seem like people were like riveted to, it was like people were milling about, they were eating, they were kind of talking, they were looking up, they were receiving some of the vow, they were going, I just was, it wasn't like we're in a church and the only
Yes.
people making a ruckus are the girls. That
Right.
was just what I thought. I don't know. It seemed
I
like that was the vibe.
Did you feel that Aaron's sister was just trying to get some camera time with coming over there and be like, "Oh, cameras are here. Let me run over and tell them to shush it"?
I did not think that. I think she definitely maybe because there's cameras on them, it definitely makes it more noticeable.
Yeah.
No, she seems like I didn't feel she wanted camera time, but I did feel like we wouldn't be friends.
She was a little aggressive, and then when the mom came up and all of them were like, "Oh, we can't talk to you right now." I was like, "Okay, well, that was kinda rude." Because the mom
Yeah.
came up and was trying to be nice, and they're like, "Sorry, old lady, no time for you. We were just told to shush it." Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
"That's
I
no."
know. I know. I mean, Jenna was the only one in the group who was just like, "Yes, absolutely."
Yeah.
When the sister came over, she was like, "Yes, absolutely. Well,
I
we
think
got
if
it."
you want people to listen to the speeches and the thing, you have to be it has to be a seated thing. Like, everybody has to know to be in
Yeah.
their seat, and maybe if they're chatting at their table, it's one thing, but if you really want people to sit and focus and listen for, like, 1
Right.
hour,
Right.
you're at table 27, do you want the beef or the chicken? Like, they're gonna have to
I
sit.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it seemed like too many speeches.
and nobody kept it to 2 minutes. It was a lot of back
A
when we were
lot
in the
of
yeah, a lot of elementary
speeches are
school.
hard. You gotta keep it tight and right. They needed a dress rehearsal and they needed some cutting, and that's it. I could provide that service for them to come in
I
and
I know
tighten
that
it
you
up.
could. Yeah,
I
you
really
could.
could.
What about Erin's dress at the first dress she wore at that party? I haven't had a chance to talk about the show to anybody lately, so
Okay.
that's why I'm
Oh,
going backwards. Yeah.
let's get into it. I mean, it didn't fit her. Beautiful dress didn't fit her.
Yeah.
I don't know. That wasn't
It was weird, right? With
it
the way it
didn't
was
fit her
cut, like, right across the nipple.
it was a sh it just it was a beautiful dress, and the idea of the dress was so right, and even though it was very showy, I think fit if it covered her, we would have been in business beyond. It
Yeah.
just cut her boobs off and flattened them and turned them around, and it was I don't know. I mean, it just was, she was, messing with it the whole time.
Yeah, just side to side, and I
Yeah.
wonder if it probably fit, but then when she put the mic pack on,
Oh, maybe.
it gave it that couple of inches that she needed.
Oh, lord, we needed it.
Yeah, we
Oh,
needed it.
lord.
I was
Ay,
glad
yeah.
when she changed. Yeah.
Yeah, we needed a break from the dress.
Um, Next person on that show I wanna talk about, thoughts on Jessel and her seemingly bad attitude.
I mean, Jessel, I've warmed up to. I really
Me
have.
too, me too.
Um, the scene with her mom is lovely, and
Yes.
her and her husband have, I think, a cute relationship, whether they're having sex or not. I
Yeah,
think he seems cool to me. I like him.
I like him too.
And Jessel, I think I think everyone has said, like, Jenna was like, she wouldn't hurt a fly. And then Bryn was like, she's so much fun to be around. She is so easy, and she makes you feel like she's so happy to see you. So
Uh-huh.
those things, I'm like, okay, she has such an off-putting way about her, and she's so blunt and
Yeah.
just says things in a way that are just like, "Whoa." But it seems like at the core of who she is, she's like a cool person and people like her. So it's she's interesting. I mean, I am finding her quite fascinating to watch.
What about the dress she had on the confessional this week that had the big black circle here and the big silver circle here? it was a new look in
I
the
almost have to go
confessionals.
look at it. Like, I have the red one shoulder dress is
Yes,
gorgeous.
gorgeous. This is,
I
something that
don't know, I'd have
probably
to
if you were standing, it would look interesting, but it's a
yeah,
big
I
so if
almost
you're
wanna look.
sitting, it's a circle here and a circle here, and it looks like you put 2 plates, like, on the sides of her arms, and it's not right at all.
Okay. Yeah. I'm doing a quick Google just because I don't I mean, I watched everything just,
I think you have to really think about these things, like,
oh, yeah, hold
like,
on.
waist up, what it's gonna look like, right?
Well, I gotta tell you, I would fall apart. I mean, I feel like I hate I hate sitting in a dress and thinking about it. I feel like confessionals are hard, you know?
Yes.
You're in a
But the
cold
red but the red
room.
dress nailed it.
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful, and you're in
yeah.
it, it's like, that's how people are gonna be feeling about you. Oh. Oh, yeah.
Do you see it now?
Yeah, it's a lot,
It's weird,
you
right? It
know?
doesn't I'd like to see it standing because I don't
Yeah,
understand what's
I think
happening.
standing's better, but they're fashion girls, which I am enjoying, even if it's not something I could ever see myself in. I am
Mhm.
liking, like, new things to look at, new
Yeah,
ideas. So, I've enjoyed Jessel's she does wear a lot of kinda, like, mock turtleneck cuts, like, they're not a full turtleneck, but they kinda come up to here on her
uh-huh.
neck, like, you'll notice it she does wear I'm like, "Oh, that's an interesting choice," but I'm enjoying looks, I'm
I am
finding
too.
it fresh, and I'm enjoying it.
And I think that I've really so far wanted to like Sai, but I'm kind of getting the from her,
Yeah.
and I want to like her. And Erin, I kind of want to not like, but I do like her. I think it's because I like to look at her because she's really pretty and she's got such a rockin' bod. So I think I'm just superficial that way. I just think she's pretty.
I do think she's beautiful, and I think that I like Erin. I just do.
Took a
I mean,
you took a stand on it.
I
Yeah.
do. I also think she handles things well. I know that she's been in the position of kind of, like, coming at everybody the last couple episodes, and that's not that much fun, but,
Mhm.
even when we were all in her house, like, and they were complaining about everything, I thought she sort of handled it all with, like, a laugh and kind of handled it well. I don't know. I am finding her interesting. I think her and her husband are fascinating to watch, and Psy, I'm
Yeah.
over. I'm not enjoying Psy. Don't like Psy. I'm not getting it. It's not working for me. Not having it. Don't love
Yeah.
it. No.
Yeah, and I was interested to see that she had a staff of 2 for the social influencer thing, and it was like, "Okay, you've gotta take 4 pictures of these pajamas with this thing, and you gotta go stand in the snow." I found that interesting because in my mind, you just take a picture with something and be like, "I got this from" whatever.
Yes.
I didn't quite know it was so obviously, I'm not an influencer. I didn't know it was quite so detailed, so I liked that. I was interested in her backstory. I'm interested in Bryn's backstory.
Yeah.
Even
Absolutely.
Aaron, who was so opposite, with such a like a bougie backstory, that's interesting as well.
Me
Because
too.
very rarely you come across somebody like born and raised in Manhattan.
Yeah,
That's
with her
pretty rare.
Israeli roots and the family,
Mhm.
like her dad, I wanna see more of her dad, and yeah, I the Psy thing, it's funny. Of course, we have, like, a major influencer on one of these shows. It makes nothing but sense, and with that said, we're looking behind the curtain in a way that's sort of, uh, I don't know, I'm like, "Oh, okay."
You don't
You
love all
know,
those products? What?
it's not that I don't love the products, but seeing the mechanics of it,
Well, you're
and that
saying you're looking at it now with the
as a
mechanics. No,
consumer,
yeah, knowing that she doesn't really just love this
care
product.
about
She's
any
just
of it.
eh, yeah,
It's all just, she's marking it's a to-do list, and
yeah,
so there's something about that where, of course, I knew that somewhere in my head, but, like,
yeah.
just seeing the bare bones of it, I'm like, "Oh, hmm." Boo,
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that. I also thought it was so ironic that she had a problem with Jenna bringing her bag of goodies for everyone, which I thought was very nice. They all
Mhm.
are on her ass.
It's
Everything
weird.
she does, everybody's on her ass, and I'm like, "You're an influencer. That's literally your entire life is
Mhm.
promoting
Yeah.
product." And you're
Right.
gonna have a problem with Jenna promoting her actual products, her actual
Yeah.
collaborations. I mean, I just found that ridiculous and frustrating.
Well, you know what I loved about Jenna is she had a box or a bag for everyone, and she had curated things, and maybe she got things free, and she was like, "I don't like this, but totally bet Cy would, or I wouldn't like this. Maybe it's more for a younger person. I'm going to give it to Bryn." And she had put, and then maybe something she had purchased from friends that had brands because all female brands, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that for her to put together a bag for everybody, thinking about what they might like, is really great. My love language is gifts. I love to receive gifts and I love to give gifts. I love to give gifts. I sent you a gift. Did you get it, by the way?
You did?
Yes. I sent,
No.
remember, I got your address and I sent you a gift. Hmm.
Wait a minute. What
It
did
was
you
a
send me?
it was a fan. Did you
A
get it?
fan?
Yeah. Well, it was a fan, a
I
portable
did
fan.
not. I never
Oh,
got it.
I'm so upset.
What? Wait a minute. A portable fan. Okay,
This
wait. My
it's in a little box this big.
no,
Yeah.
no, I never got. When was this?
Remember when I asked you for your address? It was a few weeks ago.
I never got it. I never got a fan. Did I give you a PO box number? No.
No, I think you gave me a
I
home
gave me a
address.
yeah. Um. Wow. Okay.
We can talk offline.
Is it a pink shade fan?
Yes.
Never got it.
All right. Well, we'll discuss offline to make sure
Oh
I
my
didn't get like a
god.
wrong zip code or something.
I'm sad.
Don't be sad because it's hot there and you need it. You need this
That's
fan.
right.
Yeah.
My one of my best friends just sent me one of those. They look like headphones, but it's a fan and you put it
It
around
goes
your
around your
neck.
neck. Yeah.
And my sister came in from New York and we all went to Disney and that thing got real passed around, I got to tell you.
Yeah. I have this fan here. I'm going to back up, which is not great for the audio and the video, but this is not the fan I sent you, but this is the one. This is the best
Oh, how
one.
cute.
It's
Oh, nice.
comes in all colors. I think it's like $12 on Amazon. Fold it, stick it by your bed at night. It blows right on your face.
Oh my gosh. Wonderful.
The one I sent you, the pink shade one, I don't have one in here, or I do. It's too far for me to get, but it's pretty flat, so you literally could just stick it in your back pocket, and you'd be at Disney. Just pull it out,
Boom.
bzzz, put it right back in. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. That's
Well, you're
such
so
sweet.
welcome, even though you didn't get it. We're
I
offline. We'll
didn't, but
discuss your
okay,
address,
we'll get
or if you
down
could just
into
sell it to me now if you want your address. Oh my gosh. Okay. New York. Just think so Uba we haven't seen enough of. I
I
think
miss
she's
her.
yeah, she's trying to be wacky, but she has COVID, so she can't be wacky with COVID.
We do need her. Like that last episode was sort of a bummer. Like I've enjoyed every episode of New York except for the last one was sort of a little bit of a not a bummer, but it just didn't have the effervescence of like the other episodes for me. And I think not having Uba, at least at the table, she does bring such a fun, quirky energy. And
This is
she's
when they
so
were making the wreaths.
yeah, when they were
Yeah.
making the wreaths and we needed her there because we had Sai complaining about the food, annoying. We had Jenna giving gifts and having people like
Shit
not
on
get
it.
excited about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
hello. And even Bren saying like I think she wants it because I think I do think a lot of what the gifts were branded were her collaborations she had with someone else.
It's still a
So
gift.
it's a great and it's I want Jenna collab gifts. I mean,
Yeah.
Bryn saying like I think she really wants us to post. Get the Jenna Lyons, leave her be. She's
She
not
doesn't
sweating you, honey. Like
she doesn't need your post.
she doesn't. Like
Mm-mm.
she may like you to post and that might be one of the reasons in the back of her head, but she's not losing sleep over you posting,
And she's probably
my
yeah,
love.
yeah, she might have an assistant check to see if you posted, but yeah, I don't
Yeah. I don't think she's even gonna give it that amount of time,
yeah,
you know?
I hope that Jenna stays around. I hope that they don't run her off because
I
I think she's a
know.
great
I
addition to the
know.
show. Yeah, I mean, you wanna
There's
talk about real fashion. That's real fashion.
Yeah, she was
That's
fun. I watched, did you ever watch her show on HBO? I believe it was on HBO.
No, people keep telling me, and I'm about to be out for a week, and I have nothing but a week in my home. I'll be like
Okay.
recovering from a little surgery, so I'm like
Oh, okay.
excited. Jenna Lyons is on my list. It's on HBO, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like the best show in the world, but I will say this, I did enjoy it. And I like
Okay,
those type of I love anything fashion
me
related.
too.
Even if I don't personally buy like super fashionable thing, like, I'm not like a
Yeah,
purchaser, but I
yeah,
do enjoy any fashion documentary, anything like that. I'm all
me
over it.
too.
Yeah,
That
okay.
yeah,
I'm
that
so
new
excited.
one.
Can't wait. The
Are we saying
supermodel.
yes?
Can't wait. I
Can't
keep being
wait.
like, "When is it?" Okay, it's coming up this month, this month. I
It's
cannot
September.
wait. Yeah. 12?
I can't. I have it written over here. Look, I have a little piece of paper that says
Yeah, oh my
supermodel dot because
stop.
I wanna not forget about it.
I cannot wait for it.
That is so funny. We're on the
Yeah.
same page, Deanna,
No, I mean,
same
I've
page.
watched any of those documentaries with those girls in the past. I've, like, consumed all of them.
Did you
But
watch that Isaac Mizrahi documentary from
yeah.
lots of years ago, like
Yep.
10 years ago? It was
Yep.
so good.
Yeah, so
So
good.
good. Love him.
Well, you'll love this then, I
Okay.
think. Even though it's is it like the best show in the world? I don't know, but what I was really into about her specifically is, like, she is incredible with giving direct and clear feedback. Like,
Okay.
she is a boss, literally, like, that's what you need to be she's a leader, and the
Mhm.
way she communicates and gives feedback is just, like, textbook amazing, perfect. Nobody does it. Like, that's exactly how you should do it, and, I just find her to be very interesting.
I do too. I find her fascinating, and I think people are like, "Ah, she's boring." I go, "I find her the opposite of boring. I find
Yeah,
her so interesting." I think she's
me too.
funny. I don't think
Me
she's like
too.
Bethany Frankel with with the one-liners, but I think she's funny, she's quick, she's sort of self-deprecating. She's obviously like wealthy beyond means and successful beyond means and doesn't need this show. She's just like, this will be fun. Yeah,
Yeah, I think she wants to sell her lashes. I do think that is why she's there, and that's fine.
I'll buy them.
I mean, I won't, but I will be happy for everyone who does, you know?
I'll buy them and then not know how to apply them and they'll stay in my drawer. And that's what usually happens with me and lashes. Okay, let's quickly go through this Salt Lake City trailer. Okay. So I mean, like, just scribbled like a crazy person some notes
Oh,
right before we came
wow.
on.
It's
And
a
what we got,
beautiful mind style over there.
I said that to my husband the other day. I was like, you know,
Mm,
that thing with the meme with the thing. And he goes, are you talking about the thing from Beautiful Mind? I go, yeah, but it's been remade a bunch of times. Never mind.
yeah.
He doesn't understand technology. So what we start with is Heather Gay yelling, and she's saying, for 3 years, we were tormented, brutalized, and lived in fear. Now, is she talking about her relationship with the Mormon church?
Mhm,
Or is she talking about the Jen Shaw situation?
mhm.
I wonder, because I think she's still pretends to be ride or die Jen Shaw, even though we're not going to see her for 6 years. I don't know. What do you think she's talking about there?
I let that wash over my body. I did
Mhm.
not, pin it down. I just received it. I didn't, like, get in the weeds with it.
Try to figure it out. Yeah, like
Alright,
me. Yeah, I'm trying to
yeah,
figure it
but
out. Yeah.
I also thought maybe we were talking about something with her and Whitney. But when you're asking and you're positioning those options, I think the Jen Shaw thing makes sense.
It could. Yeah, it could. At some point during that, Whitney screams something like, "You exposed my vagina?"
Mm.
You something. So then we have Meredith saying to Lisa,
Oof,
"Oh," she says, "Do you wanna talk about the husband? We can
the
go there.
husband.
Don't fuck with me." That's what she says to Lisa.
And Lisa, never seen her look like that. She had her hair
Yeah.
slicked back, and
Yeah.
she had this sort of like she didn't look defensive. She was
Mhm.
receiving what Meredith was saying, at least in this cut. And I just thought, wow, what's going on with Lisa? Because she just looks sort of vulnerable in this shot
Yeah.
while we're in this husband area. So I am that woo, 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 woo. That was good.
Lisa's still atoning from the hot mic moment of,
Right. Is
she's
what it well, I mean,
yeah. She'll never get
forever.
over it. Yeah, forever. And she does say something in this, like, I was just, ranting and raving like by myself, like you do when you're alone. And people like, with a
Uh,
microphone about your best friend. And she's
yeah.
like, oh my gosh, can a girl just call her best friend a whore that's fucked everybody in New York City? God.
God,
Um,
get off me.
then we see Mary, the return of Mary.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. The Lord
Praise
has
the Lord.
served us. The
Thank you,
Lord has
Lord.
brought us Mary. Thank you. Please let us get some scenes of her just walking around her house talking to herself or
No
her housekeepers
problem.
that are possibly her aunt.
Yeah,
Just
we'll
I'm
never know.
so excited. Um, we do see Angie K at one point during the same dinner where Heather is having this screaming thing refer to ketamine when she says to Heather, why don't you go ahead and take a horse tranquilizer like you do? Now, you know that the rumors, all alleged rumors, were that when Heather got the black eye, that she and Jen Shaw had been wrestling because they were on ketamine. Now, it was even said at the reunion something about a horse tranquilizer, and Andy Cohen's like, ketamine? Like he knew what it was. Um, so I think it was interesting that Angie K is like, I'm new here and I'll just say it. You take ketamine, you know? And Heather storms off. Yeah. Crazy, right?
Wow, I don't have a lot of frame of reference for drugs in my
Mhm.
life. Like, I
Mhm.
don't know drugs. So, but ketamine feels like a big deal.
Yeah, I will tell you that I've been getting these, nerve ablations in my back, like, where they put you to sleep and they, like, burn your nerve for back pain, and what they give you is ketamine
Oh,
because it knocks you out and then you don't remember. So I could be
well,
wi
there we go.
I could be wide awake and they're talking, I have no idea. I will literally find myself in the car being like, "How did I get here?" I get no memory. Like, you remember walking in, laying on the table, and the next thing you know, you're in the car. I don't remember. You stand up and walk out and get in a wheelchair, and like, you have no memory.
So
That's what
that
ketamine is.
actually completely tracks with Heather saying she doesn't remember.
I have no idea.
I mean, that really, really tracks, and it makes more sense than being
Yeah.
super drunk.
Mhm.
And you, because it just wasn't buying it that you have that level of black eye and don't recall it. So what you're saying, really that okay, that's all coming together, right?
Mhm. And Angie K's like, "I may only be here one season. I'm gonna scream it out." And then Angie K also says to Meredith, "You look like a trampoline with eyes."
I
Now,
don't even what is
I tried to rewind a couple of
yeah.
times to be sure I
Yeah.
heard that right because I was like, I don't really know what we're saying here. Are we saying she has a flat face? Are we saying her face looks bouncy? What are we
Yeah. I
saying?
mean, Merritt's a beautiful woman. Like
Yeah,
that particular slam, not sure that it's working.
not sure. Okay. Now we see that we're going to get a fake Whitney and Justin have problems storyline.
Okay, that's
I,
fake. Okay.
I think fake. Don't you think fake?
I mean, yes, especially because Justin, I loved how he, dealt with Whitney last year and when she was telling him everything that all of her revelations
Yeah,
about her childhood. I was like, wow, he seems so connected to her. And so
yeah.
they have had some major things go on though. Like he's lost work. She's
Hmm.
had trauma come back up. I don't know. I mean, yes, I agree with you if I had to put money down, but I'm also like, I don't know, you know?
Hmm. She did have an affair with him, and he left his wife and kids for her, and
Right.
that's not a great way to start.
It's never super. It's
Yeah,
never super. Yeah.
I think that that's made up, and they're fine.
Okay.
So then we have this new person. Her name is Monica, and we hear this whole, like, "Does anybody know the real Monica?" Joke about that. I heard Whitney
Yeah.
on a podcast saying she knew of Monica. She's in the same but she didn't know her very well, and
Okay.
they were like, "Is she a good housewife?" She's like, she's fine." She explains that in the Mormon church, she was excommunicated, meaning she didn't leave on her own. They asked her to leave, and that she does a lot of sort of Bryn kind of a, "I effed this guy, I effed that guy, I'll don't make me mad, I'll date your dad." She did a lot of
Mhm.
she's doing a lot of that, a lot of in your face sex talk. Then here's something super interesting. Lisa's son, Jack, is going on a mission.
I need that.
Interesting that Heather's trying to talk to Lisa about it, and she's like, "Shut it down. We're not talking about my kid going on a mission."
Mhm.
Because Heather's like, "Why would you're not really you drink, like, you're not really a Mormon. Like, why are you doing this?"
But Lisa is a Mormon.
Yeah.
She is a
She's
Mormon.
Mormon she's Mormon light. Yeah.
She Whether we think she is conducting herself as a Mormon or not, that's
Right.
over to the side. But in
Yeah.
terms of how she views herself and how important it is to her, she's a Mormon.
Okay. So if her child wants to go on a mission, that's her business, and really Heather should not jump in and give an opinion on that.
No, Heather can give an opinion. I mean, I would give an opinion, but Lisa's going to be defensive for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's Heather's place to say anything about her kid going on a mission. If they're Mormon and she wants to send her kid on a mission, it's not Heather's business to say. That's
Well,
just like
then
if
we
you're
don't
if
have
you
a show, Mary Payne. What are we, look, if we are
okay.
worried about people and their business, we're
Okay,
in
you're
big
right.
trouble.
You're right, you're right, you're right. Um, then there's some sort of rumor about Angie K and her husband that we don't know, but he cries and says, Electra, that's the name of their daughter. Electra is going to see this. So there's chat about the rumor,
Oh,
and
I missed that.
yeah,
That
and
the
she
yeah.
she says to her husband, "I have conducted myself trying to protect our marriage and our family unit," and he cries and says, "Electra is going to see this."
Oh Lord. Oh gosh. I hate when
Mm.
everyone breaks up. Okay. That's tough.
Um, what did you think about the ladies in those bonnets? Were they like going back to
Loved.
ye old Mormon homestead? What's the
Needed
bonnets?
it. Needed it. Needed it. I needed it so bad. I was like, let bonnets be the new roaring 20s. Please. Please. I need
Anything other than Roaring Trinities. Anything.
Yeah, it just felt really good to me. I was like, I
Yeah.
like this. I want more
Yeah.
bonnets.
We may still get Roaring Twenties, but we got
At
bonnets.
least we've got bonnets.
Oh my gosh. Then we see one hilarious thing where Mary calls Whitney a bobblehead, which is pretty good. Because Whitney does the whole thing. Oh, you think I'm a little girl? And then we see Mary going, okay, shut up, bobblehead. It's like, I loved it.
It's so good. I'm just fixing my air. Hold on one second. Sorry.
Oh,
It just went off and I'm like, I'm sweating. Okay.
oh no. Well,
Yes.
I loved it because I love the return of Mary and her random insults.
Well, I mean, we're getting to the mother of all insults, right?
We
We're
the la
fine. We are. I mean, I don't want to get there any sooner because it's such a closer. I mean, wow.
It was post they had shut down the whole trailer, put the Real House of Salt Lake City logo up,
Yes.
and it's like that thing after the credits when you see, like, that one funny thing at the end of The Hangover when they when
Yes.
movies first started doing it. They put up Heather is sitting there talking to Mary, and she says, "Do you think I look inbred?" And Mary goes, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah, I do. And she does it in a way that's so um pleasant and joyful, which
Mm.
was such a lovely and the look on Heather's face. Oh my god. That was mwah, mwah, mwah. So good. So
Well,
good.
we get the return of Mary, who I really think maybe was really kind of only friends with Meredith, maybe?
Last time, yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that was forged for the show, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they in when she was off, people would ask about her, and we were like, "I don't know. I haven't seen her. I don't know."
Yeah. It's a random, but we need it.
And we saw somebody on the beach. I
Well,
believe it was Lee.
she was friends with really who Mary was connected to, for better or for worse, was Jen Shaw because they had history.
Yeah, and Jen didn't go to her church and watch
Right.
her scream and beg for money. Yeah.
But, like, they came if I recall correctly, like, season 1 we had Mary season 1. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, season 1 this is what are we on 4?
I believe it's 4.
Okay. So
Yeah.
season 1, I remember them having old beef,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
hospital
You smell
and
like hospital. Yes.
all of that was
Yes.
stuff we weren't watching in real time. That was like old stuff. So I think
Mhm.
those 2 had a friendship like a real friendship at one point. I think Jen Shot was the, you know, the person, the connective tissue to Mary,
To
I
marry.
think.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, that's a way to end it, and, with somebody calling somebody inbred. I mean,
Whew, so good.
so good because Mary, she didn't give a shit. She didn't give 2 shits. Mm-mm.
No, she never really will. Like Mary is very clear. She knows what she feels and she feels what she knows and
It's
that's that.
interesting for her to call someone inbred when she did in fact marry her step-grandfather and have a child.
Well,
So
sometimes it's what you know, you know. You're really able to speak to it at
Oh
the
my
end of the
god,
day.
Deanna, I love talking to you.
This was
Love.
so much fun.
Okay, tell everybody what you're doing right now, where we can find you, and of course, tell everyone about the Montage Queen as well.
Yeah, of course. So you can find me at Deanna M. Cheng. And I would love for everyone to direct their attention to my new Substack. Do you know what a Substack is, Mary?
I do.
Okay, and I'm asking only because a lot of people don't. But you
Okay.
just did like a podcast platform where you just did like a whole 3-day seminar where you're breaking down a lot. So you know more than the average person.
I just know because I subscribe to a couple of friends' Substack, so
Oh,
that's how I know because I subscribe to people so I can see.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Okay.
So, how would you describe a Substack? I'd actually love to hear.
I'm probably wrong, but I view it as it could be anything. Like my friend Amy Archer has one where she does writings because she's a writer,
Mhm.
and then like Kate Casey has one where she tells you what to watch this week. You know,
She's doing audio
no,
or
neither
it's
one of
all
them.
written?
It's all written.
Okay, yeah, so it is really it's a writing platform
Hmm.
and you can do to your point, yeah, you can create whatever kind of content you want within that writing platform and it's a newsletter. So it sounds like a new thing that sounds a little crazy like what's a Substack, but it really is a newsletter that's going to show up in your inbox.
Yeah.
Or if you get the app, you'll get it on your app. So
Okay.
I had a podcast called How to Be Less Old
Okay.
and it was on the Earwolf Network a few years ago and my pod podcast podcast partner and I, Emily Foster, we were like, you know what? Let's bring it back, but in this new platform.
Okay.
So we're bringing the concept back as a Substack, and
Okay.
we're going to be interviewing youths. We stay on top of trends and lingo, and just anything that's coming up in the world that you're like, wait, what does that mean, or what's going on? We'll
Hmm.
be on top of it
Okay. Good.
and it's so much fun and we have launched it about a few weeks ago so it's brand new
Okay.
and we're also going to be doing there is a podcast feature within the platform so we'll
Hmm.
also be doing some audio content as well and we're going to be pulling from some of our old podcast clips and adding those in and like cross referencing it for what's happening now. So if you go to
Okay.
at Deanna M. Chang, the
Hmm.
link to my Substack is there in Instagram in the link tree.
Hmm.
But also, of course, if you're already on the platform and you just search how to be less old, you'll find it there.
I'd like to be less old. So that sounds like the spot for me. And then you're
uh,
still doing the Montage Queen.
yes, that's my company, the Montage Queen. I do montages for birthdays and bat mitzvahs and anniversaries and things like that. So feel free to, pop on over to themontagequeen.com and let me know if you need something.
And how are you doing? How are you faring with this actors and writers strike since you are both of these
Yeah, I
things?
mean, I am faring just fine at this moment because I've got some things cooking that are not that like Substack is self-published essentially. You're using the
Yeah.
platform, but it's it's subscriber based and it's your own direct to consumer type thing. So,
Yeah.
and I have my company that's not part of any strike. So like I'm doing okay. I'm
Okay, good.
kind of set up for a strike, but of course looking forward to it being over and starting to get out on the picket lines, which has been fun. Because you kind of just hang out with some people and march around with a sign. But hopefully everything is it's definitely beyond time. I think people are really their eyes are open to how little the average actor gets paid, and with streaming, it's just so hard to make real money.
Yeah.
Even if you're on a show for 10, 12 episodes, the residuals are so small.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal. It's really, and the AI of it all is just another, it's like we have to get ahead of it. So the
There was
writers and
so
actors
much,
coming
so
in.
much AI talk at Podcast Movement.
Yeah, I bet.
So many panels about AI. I was like, "The robots are taking over. I don't wanna know about AI. Leave me alone. Leave me alone
I
with the AI."
know. What were they getting after? Like, what about
It's
it?
it's a lot of, like, how AI could write your show notes,
Yeah,
how, you
that's
know,
what, yeah, mhm.
that kinda thing.
Well, I know, it's like, well, gosh,
And it
okay.
won't be funny. If I don't write it, it's not funny.
Yeah, I'm
AI
sure
does it.
AI could do a better job than me, but, I'd love to get my own stab at it, thanks, you know?
They probably will correct my grammar, but whatever. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to that being over as well because I just got my husband to watch both seasons of The Bear, which I had already seen.
So
And
good.
so now he's like,
God.
"When are we getting a 3rd season?" I go, "I don't know. Writers
I
and
can't
actors strike."
I gotta tell you, I did not think they had a second season in them. I was like, "This is the kinda show where they left it on the field."
Mm,
That was it. We don't have a second season, and what they did in that second season
incredible.
blew my freaking hair back. I
Yeah,
thought it was unbelievable.
yeah. And I kept telling my husband when the Fishes episode came up, the Christmas one, because we were just sort of rolling them and watching, and I said, "We can't just roll into this one. We have to start tomorrow with this. We have to stop tonight
Good
because
good good idea.
I said, "Because it's first of all, there's so
Deep.
many cameos in it, and it's so deep, and you
That I
can't
know.
look down at your phone, like, you have to
No.
be paying attention.
No.
All of this stuff is speaks to all these other things that you don't know. We still don't
I
know
know.
where the dad is or what happened to the dad. We still don't know.
True. I had that was my one and only problem was all the cameos. I was screaming at the television. I was
It
so upset. I was
it was
so
it was you think it took away?
oh, it really bugged me. It like
Really?
especially at the beginning of it. Yes, because I'm like, we've created this world and these are all not unknown, but like relatively you're not slapped in the face with a bunch of known
Right.
actors,
Just Oliver
and
Platt, I think, would be the only one I
yeah,
knew. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and his role was like a side role. I don't know, it didn't, and he's always a character actor anyway,
Mhm,
so,
mhm.
but it was just one after another, and I felt like, "Oh, this show did great last season, and now it's a free for all." And I made my way, as that episode went on, but I was so upset. I don't know, it threw me off. Like, I can't
Really?
even tell you. Like, I just felt like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? How'd you get over here? Get out of here." But then I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was spectacular, so
She
she
was.
could stay. She stayed because she killed it.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone else could have gone, and I actually thought, I always forget her name, but the who played, the wife who was pregnant,
Oh,
um
Richie's wife.
yeah, Richie's wife.
Yes, I know I've looked her up no less
She's
than
great.
14 times to remember her name, and then I can't remember because
She's a phenomenal actress.
she is, yeah, she
She
could
she
stay.
could have stayed. I needed everyone else to go. I needed Mulaney to go. I needed, um,
Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson had to go. I didn't understand
Because
Sarah Paul she didn't make a lick of sense to me.
she's so famous, and you are so mesmerized by her beautiful face that you can't imagine this person is his aunt. How is she
It
his aunt?
didn't make sense to
How
me.
is
I
she
was
who
like,
is she
"Get
related
outta
to? Is
here."
she Jamie
I
Lee
didn't
Curtis's sister? Yeah, it makes
couldn't
no
have told
sense.
you. That was
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was an aunt. I thought it was like a cousin. I couldn't get a
Yeah.
handle on it. So, it just threw me, but Mary Payne, what are we doing? What's happening? We're still in the podcast? Like, is
We're
this
still
okay?
talking.
We
Yeah, we're still
really
talking.
I mean, I'm
That's
so
why
like,
it's barely Bravo. That's why it's barely Bravo, because this is what happens on
wow. We
Thursdays.
went okay. Okay,
We
okay,
can't
okay.
get
I'm
when
sorry.
I start talking about the bear, this happens with anybody. You
Okay.
gotta when you start talking about the bear, it happens. You guys, if you haven't seen the bear, it's on Hulu. Just get on it. Get
So
on
good.
it.
So
So
good.
good. So good.
But
Well,
and PS, that episode was so good, but meanwhile, I just had a problem with, as I said, but don't let that stop you. It's so good.
no, 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 no. I mean, I thought it was great. So, but
Yeah.
I'm not an actor, so it didn't bother me as much as it would
Well,
bother you.
great. So then that's good.
It's good for the
No,
people.
but you know what I
I'm the
mean? Like,
people.
if you're,
Yeah.
then that's good. It just, yeah. Okay. Moving on.
Guys, follow Deanna at Deanna M. Cheng, and then you can find her Substack. And then you can also follow her at the Montage Queen, or go to themontagequeen.com, and that's where you'll find out about the montages that she does for various fun family events. And follow me at Pink Shade Pod. We'll put out a reel about this. So there you go. There'll be a
Love
reel
it.
about this later in the week. And so you'll have to hit the collab when I hit collab, because
Don't mind
that's
if
what
I do.
that's what we do now on the reels. You got to hit collab.
Let's collab.
Let's collab, girl.
For the
All
love of
right.
God.
And you guys, if you liked Deanna over there in Reality Checked, reach out to your local Radio Annie
Yeah.
representative and let them know.
Don't keep it to yourself. And I
No,
gave Pink Shades got their shout outs. Do you know that?
no, I wasn't listening when you shouted me out.
Well, I did. I shouted. I would refer to myself when just describing who I am to the listeners, and I said I'm a podcast slut, and I list off all the podcasts, and Pink Shade was always part of the list.
Wonderful. Well, I'll have to go and
Yeah.
listen. I love to be referred to in the same sentence as slut. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Deanna.
Great talking to you.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going